Should you read a book or take a course? I think we've all been in that position whereby you just search on Google how to how to create a website or something like that, and you just get overwhelmed by the number of resources you get because it's too much, and you from there you get confused. What should I do? Should I take a programming course or I should read a book? And that's where the confusion starts. But let me break it down to you. Before you even start considering which route to take, you should take a few things into consideration. First off, which form of learning do you prefer? Do you prefer reading or you prefer like something like a video or tutorial? Secondly, are you learning for the long term or the short term? Are you learning, for example, you're looking to change your career, or do you just have an idea maybe of an app or a website you like to build? Also, you should consider the language barrier, and yes, language barrier matters. So let's dive deep into all these three. First, which form of learning do you prefer? Do you prefer learning by the book? You prefer reading? You just take the you just prefer reading the plain text and then later implementing what you learned, or you prefer following and dabbling into the things immediately? Like immediately you get something, you just prefer to get into it and start dirtying your hands with it. If that's the case, then you're probably better off with the course, taking an online course, or yeah, probably most likely online a video course. But there's one thing. Why not, if you're looking to read a book or take a course, why not take both? Be- Both have their pros and cons, and both are great learning resources. What if you consider taking both great plus great and make a great plus plus? I'm just saying, why not consider both? Since both have their pros and cons, and then taking both courses will be taking both routes would be great. You could start by reading a book and then later taking a course. All right, let's take a let's take a look at some of the pros and cons of both books and courses. Books are, as we know, books are mostly evergreen. You can come back to a book anytime and study it, no matter how long it takes. There are books that have been published more than 100 years ago, and we still go back to them. The book I'm currently reading, Programming for Them, is being published 1999. That was when it was first published, and I'm still reading it right now, and I think it's one of the best programming books I've read. Secondly, books are great for offline reading. So if you like reading in the outdoors, or there are times you'll get stuck somewhere with no internet connection. I know how frustrating that is. And maybe instead of wasting that time, you want to try and do something for during the time. You could just pop off. Maybe if you is in your phone, if it's in an ebook, you can just read it right away. Or if you have the physical book, you could just bring it out and read it. Books are also a great sharing resources. Let's say, for example, you have a friend that you are trying to pitch programming to. Not everybody will be so interested or so excited if you give them a course, but just give them a book. Just give them one book to go and read when they have time, when they are free, at their own time. If it piques their interest, then they are gonna come back and they are gonna be more interested. So that's where books can shine also. And let's look at some of the cons of some of the disadvantages. Books take up space. That's just natural. We all know that. If if you have a lot of books, then you're gonna have a lot of space taken. So if you are considering books, the best way I will say ebooks. Maybe you could buy on Amazon, on Kindle, on Amazon, or you could just, maybe if it is just a PDF, you could just download it on your device and that's it. You can access it anywhere. But books take space and they're big. Taking them around will be difficult a lot of times. And this, I think, is one of the biggest cons of books. Books, as we know, are non-interactive. A lot of books are, I should say, majority of books are non-interactive, especially books that are just educational. For example, you are learning to code, you are learning programming, so reading a book will definitely not be interactive. That's for sure. We all know that. Of course, when something is pure theoretical, if you're reading something like let's say you're reading sociology, you're reading something that's pure theoretical, that there's no problem reading a book. But when you're learning something like programming, then books will tend to be off because of the non-interactivity. And now let's take some of the pros of courses. Firstly, they are very interactive. Courses are very interactive. You can follow the tutor, you can follow the instructor in the video course, or you'll be given a UI. In the case of like Free Code Camp or Codecademy, you'll be given a UI where you'll be able to write the code and interact. That's one pro of course. Another one is constant upgrades. Courses are constantly upgraded because the instructors are constantly up to date with the technology. So they're trying their utmost best to upgrade the courses and make them up to date. That's another thing, whereby books are not constantly upgraded. So some of the latest information you won't find them in books. And the last one, this is a bit of a debatable issue. This is a little bit debatable. There are a lot of premium courses, as we know, and we know some of the best courses are behind a premium paywall. But also at the same time, there are a lot of low cost or even free courses that you can just take anywhere, anytime, and at your own pace. So that's another advantage of courses. And the last one is wide variety of choice. In courses, you have a way more to choose from than in books. You can get, right now there are more than 1,000 courses that you can get for free, for practically free. Even if it is not free, is very, very low cost, like $10, and you'll just and you can get access to it in places like Udemy, Skillshare, Coursera. You can get a lot of these courses free or low cost. And let's look at some of the disadvantages of courses. The first is low quality assurance. No quality assurance, because not all courses are the same, and not everybody is a good teacher. Not everybody is good in teaching. So, and courses are not like, let's say, books that you can check reviews on Amazon and know which one to choose from, which one to buy. You just have to get in the course and see if it is a free course, then you can just get in and check. If you are comfortable with it, then you can go on. But if it's a paid course, that's it. That's it. You've paid and you can't get your money back. That's just how it works. Courses are also sometimes difficult to follow, especially when you are not native English, since most of the courses are in English. If you are not native English and maybe you are new, just learning, then courses can be difficult to follow, because following the instructor will be difficult for you. So here I always recommend people that can't speak good English read a book, except if you are willing to go with the course. You just want to go with the course. Maybe you even want to use it to improve your English, then you can take the course. But here I say read a book. And the most important and the biggest cons of courses, as we know, most video courses are just like tutorials. The instructor builds a project and you follow him along, you code along with him. Sometimes there's a piece of code he didn't explain what it did, or maybe there's a code he has done before starting the video, so he has done some pre-programming or whatever you call it before starting the course. So you don't actually know what that does, and also what he's using to build the project. It may not be the same as what you'll use to build your own project. So that's where a lot of people get into the tutorial hell, and that's deep. That hell is deep, believe me. You don't want to get into the tutorial purgatory. You won't like it. So you just have to be careful with how you go. If the instructor finishes a project, pause the course, stop it, go into the project, try breaking some stuff, try changing the code, try seeing what a piece of code does before you move on. Make sure to understand what it does before you move on. And that's what I've got for you for this video. I've been ranting for pretty much the whole video. This is just some of the stuff that I discovered from reading books and taking courses. But I will say, if you are whether you are new to programming or learning a new programming language, I would suggest you should first read a book, because a book gives you a bird's eye view of the concept of the whole language or the whole concept, the whole topic, and it lays a foundation. It lays a solid foundation for you before taking a course. Then when you're taking a course, it's because mostly courses specify on a specific technology. For example, you can get a React course, a JavaScript course. Most courses don't specify on the whole topic, on the whole subject. It doesn't. So you should first start reading with a book and then take a course. And that's it for me. If you've reached this part of the video, consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe. Let me know in the comments, which do you prefer, reading a book or taking a course? And I'll see you next time. Peace.